And good morning. It is time now for Live at 9 with James Phillips. And I'll tell you a secret, I am not James Phillips. James is under the weather today, and hopefully he'll be back tomorrow. But today our guests are our own Brian Hale and Curry head coach Jace Cordell. You guys, what's going on?
Well, let's introduce Coach Cordell a little bit more in detail. He's entering his fourth season with the Curry Yellow Jackets. They went 3-7 last year, and do not think that is a bad turn mark, because I can tell you they were heavily involved in the playoff scene all the way until their final area game. So I know that's something that Coach is proud about. But Coach, first and foremost, good morning. Welcome into us, and it's getting that time. Do you feel it in the air?
Yeah, good morning. I appreciate y'all having me. And yeah, it's it's here now, and we're excited, and kids are excited. There's a different feeling in there. I feel like I've said that each year, but we keep finding a way to keep getting better.
Entering a fourth season, that means you got some kids that have been with you the full ride.
That's right.
As a head coach, what's that like for you're entering a year that you've had kids for a full cycle? What's that like for you?
Well, it's my first time, being here like that or anywhere. But the exciting thing is that every kid in the program now has pretty much exclusively played for me. Mm-hmm. It's not that they've been playing for another coach and they've getting used to me. It's been me for the last 4 years. They know what I expect out of them. They know what they can expect out of me. So I think that that's going to pay dividends as well.
You have some 18 returning seniors that are coming in. That's a huge hallmark, Coach, to have that coming into a season. And that's more about what you just talked about. These kids know how you and your coaches want to do things. What kind of advantages does that bring for you?
It's huge. I mean, we graduated, 2 starters from last year, and we've got 18 seniors this year, and the majority of them have been around since I've got there and have been playing since they were freshmen. We've got we'll be exclusively mostly juniors and seniors starting and playing most of the football games. We was talking the other day, we've got several freshmen and sophomores that are really good ball players, all right, really good. Where, these guys that are juniors and seniors now were starting on the varsity as 8th and 9th graders when they were that young, and 10th graders. And now, some of the 9th and 10th graders we have now are borderline better than these juniors and seniors are when they were that age.
Wow.
But they're not, they're not as developed because these guys that's juniors and seniors have been with us for 4 years in the weight room and learning the system and doing those things, doing the right things. So now it's harder for those younger guys to play as much on Friday nights. But they keep coming and they're working, and their time's going to come, and we're just going to keep this thing moving forward.
Obviously, that also helps you guys out as a coaching squad, that you've got mentors in those returners in front of them. See, the young guys that are coming into your program, they can direct them. That's a vital tool.
Oh, it's huge, and these guys that's seniors now, they've been learning how to lead for 4 years, and they've about got the puzzle put together now. So it's just it's a perfect storm right here. 4 years in, first group I've had for 4 years from 9th to senior year. And, it's going to be good. And them younger guys are learning how to be better teammates from these guys. And it's just going to be great. I'm excited about it.
Well, one guy that you've got returning, Heath Miller, is one of our few award winners, Special Teams Player of the Year. And special really, I think, simplifies Heath so much, because he gets the David Palmer Award. Anybody who's old enough listening, he can do just about anything. He's a great returner. He can line up.
Oh,
He
yeah.
can go any position. Plus, he could play some great defense.
Oh, yeah.
He's such a valuable tool, not only on and off the field.
Mm-hmm.
Talk a little bit about Heath.
I think I could talk for a long time about Heath. I think he led the region last year in interceptions. But he also is a kicker and punter. I think he's ranked 36th nationally
Wow.
as a punter. In his class. So that's pretty big deal right there. I told somebody the other day that if somebody don't give him a shot, man, they've missed out, because there's not a team anywhere that doesn't want a Heath Miller on their team
absolutely.
or in their locker room. He does everything right. He's smart. He has good grades. He's just as good to the best player on the team as he is, maybe one of the smaller, younger guys that doesn't play any. He treats everybody the same way. So if you did a poll in the locker room, there wouldn't be a single person that doesn't like Heath Miller.
Let's step back a little bit to last year. I think one of the biggest key victories that you've had since you became Curry was that win over Dora, because that was at home. It kept you guys into the playoff pictures.
That's right.
And it was just, you had to have a great overall team effort against a talented Dora team. Talk a little bit about what that meant for you as a coach.
Well, I think, it's the most complete game that we've played since I've been a coach here. And that started, Sunday with the coaches meeting and coming up with a game plan. And the kids came in Monday and they executed it all week long. I tell them all the time about, remind them about the week that we played Dora and how great the practices were and the effort that they gave at practice, and how the attitudes were great. There was no issues that week. It couldn't have been a more perfect week. And it translated Friday night when the game started. So I'm still on them about that. Already this year. That's the kind of effort and intensity that we have to practice with week in, week out, and every Friday can be like that.
The drop in classification is, for all intents and purposes, not really a drop for you guys, because you kind of go into going from one very competitive region to another one in 3A.
Yeah.
That's got a lot of bumps. I mean, you're looking at teams like Winfield. You're looking at Fayette County. We have already mentioned Oakman with Coach Painter, what he's doing down there. You start off with Meek. I mean, this is it's certainly tried and testing your team all the way along. Talk a little bit about that schedule.
As I start, with the region schedule, I believe that this is the toughest region in 3A North. You mentioned, I think, 3 of the teams, and then you throw in Hatton as well, and that's 4 teams that's playoff run teams every year. So it's a tough region, but we're opening with Meek, and Meek's no slouch. They've been a heavyweight in the 1A classification for several years. So we're going to get tested on, our physicality right out of the gate playing Meek. I expect them to come in and be a hard-nosed football team just like we want to be ourselves.
That's your closest rival also. I mean, you're geographically your closest rival. And I know that's also got to add a little bit more excitement to that. It's your opening game. The crowds will not have to travel as far. That's got to be a fun atmosphere, not only to prepare for, but to coach in.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun. They've talking about they're going to call it, the Battle of the Bridge right there. So
I like that.
I think some of our folks has talked to some of their folks, and they're going to decorate the bridge and all that on each side of the lake and stuff like that for the bus and all that to come through and see. So, I hope it's something that we can make a every year thing with them. So and it's good. But they got a good coach. He's one of my good friends, Coach Evans. I really like him. So he called me, and I said, "Yeah, let's make it happen. I think it'll be a good gate game for both of us whenever we play at our home place." So.
It's going to be, I think, a lot of fun. We're actually going to be broadcasting that one, and I personally can't wait for it because both of you guys are so easy to deal with. And you got two really good teams coming into this year. When you kind of look at things overall in your region and the way that they also have, this almost seems like the type of game you either want to close a game with or start a game
Right.
with. Start a year with. Is that kind of your mindset going into it?
Yeah, over the years, we've played some teams, that, well, we won a game a couple years ago, and myself personally, it was bittersweet, I guess, you know what I mean? Because it wasn't, every win's a good win. I ain't taking anything away from it, but I didn't feel like we had to work as hard to earn that victory, So I think playing tougher opponents, makes, if you can win, makes it that much sweeter. So, we've tried to keep our schedule as tough as we can in the non-region games. So we keep the kids working hard, That way they don't say, "Oh, we got so-and-so this week, we ain't got to work hard." No, you better work hard every week.
Now, you're a Cordova guy. What was that like for you when you first had to line up against your alma mater?
That's a game that it just sticks with me. It's one I always keep in the back of my mind. I know the next game's the biggest game because it's the next one. But I got that one circled every year. It's something about going back in front of your hometown and those people that everybody knows you. You want to perform well against them and show them that you're not just Jace that played guard and defensive end or whatever. When he was in school, he can get other kids to work hard too. So.
And obviously, being a Blue Devil, I got to step back to that Dora win last year. That kind of felt a little bit. Did that add the cherry on top?
yeah. It was good. So it was good.
Well, Coach, so much I know of your life is revolving around family. You have a wonderful wife and Miss Megan. You got two boys.
Yeah.
What has the summer brought you?
Oh man, we've been wide open. They've been wide open. My wife, she's opened a business in April or May 1 right there, down in here in downtown Jasper, Glaze Aesthetics and Wellness, and so that's keeping her a little bit busy and. Being the owner of that, she's kind of seeing. I'm not a business owner, but I think of it like that as a head coach. You kind of got to attack it that way because you're managing all kinds of people and money and everything else. So she's kind of getting a little better understanding of some of the stress that I have sometimes. But we work through it together, and she's doing good. I mean. She's got the boys right now. I'm gonna go pick them up as soon as I leave here. So we're gonna enjoy these last few days before they have to go back to school.
Oh, one tidbit that I wanted to touch on. Y'all have a new staff member that's very familiar to our area. Coach Woody Smothers.
That's right.
Has joined the staff. What has he brought in as far as not only to the player, the coaches, but you all as a staff?
Oh, well, just the experience. I think we was talking this morning. I think he's got 28 years in as a teacher. So anytime, you have somebody with that kind of an experience, in coaching, so it's good for everybody because we're a pretty young staff, myself included. I don't know everything. I try to learn something every day from somebody. And he brings a lot of that to the table. Just the knowledge and experience, and I don't have to worry about the offense. I said, here, you do that, and I don't have to worry about it. And I trust him with it. And he was our offensive coordinator when I was in high school.
So I remember those days.
Yeah. So he's doing a great job. The kids love him. They crave that discipline and stuff that he also brings to the table. So he's jumped right in and run wide open with it.
You never have a problem hearing him, do you?
No, no. It's good. I'll be on the other end of the practice field and I'll hear somebody getting chewed out about something. I just start smiling. I'm like, I'm glad it ain't just me. So.
Well, we're up against a break, but we want to thank all of our fine sponsors. First and foremost, Young Jewelers, who's kind of one of our many MVPs around here. We thank them. Jake's on fourth. Man, I wish they were open today because I really want an Italian route.
We also have a
Badly.
new sponsor. We want to welcome Nelson, Bryan, Boylan, and Cross. We want to welcome them aboard to Live at 9.
Well, we're going to head on to a break right now, and when we return, we're just going to kick everything back and relax and just kind of go around a bunch of different topics with Coach. Jace Cordell will be joining us right back Live at 9 with James Phillips, even though he's not here.
And welcome back to Live at 9 with James Phillips and today's guest, Brian Hale, and Curry head coach, Jace Cordell. I'll let you have it back, Brian.
Well, right now, let's just jump around on a bunch of topics. Coach, we were talking a little bit about this during the break. You haven't had a chance to see the new Spider-Man, but are you a Marvel guy?
Yeah. I like Marvel. We the wife and kids, they went and watched it without me this weekend. I told them,
Man.
specifically, I said, I kind of want to go watch that Spider-Man movie, and they went off to the beach this weekend without me and watched it. So I may have to slip off by myself one day and watch it, I guess.
Man, oh man. So okay, so this was Spider-Man. Is he your top Marvel guy, or do you have another character that's your top?
What's Batman?
That's DC.
That's DC.
That's DC.
Batman, that'd be who my go-to guy is right there. But Spider-Man's, he'd be second on the list of them.
Spider-Man second. Okay.
Yeah.
You know something that would always be a fun crossover to me if they had Batman and Spider-Man could team up.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be. I know Batman would just get enough of Peter's constant ragging. And you know that would happen.
That's
but
right.
couldn't you guys see that as a perfect movie? Maybe we'll get it on AI one day.
Have you seen the meme where it's a cartoon where Batman is back slapping Robin? Have you seen that?
Yes, absolutely.
That would be Spider-Man.
Constantly.
Yeah.
Of course, wait a minute. The Spidey sense.
He'd
Yeah.
see it coming. He'd know
He'd
it was
see it.
coming.
How much more would that aggravate
That's
him?
true.
Oh,
He'd be
yeah.
ducking.
Oh, man. So, kicking that around, let's kick around something else. SEC Media Days was not too far. It was not too far off, and we had a chance to talk to everybody. We kicked this around last week on the show. Hottest seat in the SEC. A lot of the polls saying it's Shane Beamer. I think it's got to be Sarkisian because of what all's coming back, and the fact that it's the Galactic Empire of Texas. They got more money than anybody.
Right.
They want him to do something this
Oh,
year.
yeah.
What do you think?
Well, I mean, both of them are in the hot seat. Should be. I mean, you go to Texas where money is no option, and they in today's world we're in an instant gratification. There ain't no. We want everything right now, and money can buy that in college football in today's world. So if Sark don't get something going, have a good year this year, he could be in trouble. Now old Beamer, it's South Carolina.
Yeah.
But I tell you, I ain't so sure. And this is gonna sound like a spoiled Alabama fan, but the way Alabama's played football the last couple of years, it doesn't, it don't have that same physical feel about it as what it was before. But hats off to DeBoer for following Saban. I mean, they said something in a clinic that he was speaking at, and I won't repeat it here, but they was right. He's crazy or had something else going on to take that job.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk Lane Kiffin and LSU. I've always said, and I mean Les Miles was the perfect example of this. You just need a halfway competent coach with the talent in Louisiana, with the money. And here's Lane. You almost wonder, he's going to get this going.
Right.
How long is it going to take? Are we going to see effects already this year?
I expect them to have a really good year. And Lane Kiffin's a good coach, great coach. But, he brings that factor of Lane Kiffin to everything he does. But, I expect LSU to hit the ground running pretty quick. I don't think it'll take as long as it did at Ole Miss for them to get it to that point.
Tennessee, they're seemingly on this hills and valleys. And I think some of the Vol Nation are just kind of getting to the point where, like, look, we want stability, not hills and valleys. Appreciate your 11 and 12 wins. We don't want the 7 wins behind it.
Right.
Do you think his seat's growing hotter?
It seems like when that conversation gets brought up about him, he has a breakout year and everybody's fine again. But I mean, just the SEC in itself, week in, week out, they eat their own.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's hard to compete at that level week in, week out, and be healthy or whatever to go win it all. Like Indiana last year. Signetti's done wonders with those guys.
Yes, goodness.
And one of the big things, of course, they got great ball players and stuff, but I think on average, what was they, 2 or 3 years older than everybody else
they
that
were.
they played against?
It was almost like an island of misfit toys.
Right. I mean, you're playing with grown men against boys. And grown men are gonna win that 9 out of 10
Absolutely.
times.
Absolutely. Well, one thing I wanted to ask you about, and I love to get coaches on this, but who is your biggest jokester on the team among the players? Who can get you rolling?
Oh man, we got Squirrel is his nickname, Carter Shattinger. We give him that nickname years ago because he's all over the place, buddy. But he's a good one. That's one of my seniors. Another one's Joe Sargent. He'll always crack a joke and cut up with everybody. So those two would be the main ones that can get me cracked up every now and then. So
What is the funniest thing that has ever happened during a ball game? G-rated. G-rated. But the one thing that even cracked your facade, did you have a moment?
oh yeah, I got one last year against Carbon Hill. Something happened. A ball, just like it was floated up in the air forever, and we're just standing. The secondary's just standing there looking at it. I'm jumping up and down, throwing a tantrum, and I come down and I roll my ankle, and golly, I'm talking about I got it good, buddy.
Oh.
I mean, good. I'll show you some pictures later.
Oh my
But,
goodness.
I just all but broke that son of a gun, and I had to pull myself together and quit limping around. And then we won. I tried not to hobble out across the field, but nobody knew till I told them I'd done it.
Oh my goodness.
That was one of those "what are you doing" moments, So I had to deal with that the rest of the year.
Jeez. Did they didn't call you Coach Hopalong after that? did
No, I won't limp in front of them. They'll never know if I'm hurting unless I tell them.
Man.
So.
You were part of such a memorable era at Cordova. You've had a chance to see so many of your teammates not only get into coaching, but some of them have gone on to different paths. What's some of your fondest memories about that time at Cordova that you had?
And and that was a time, and it just gets more special each year. Next year will be 20 years since we won the state championship.
Mm-hmm.
And those guys, I still talk to some of them pretty regular, and every time I see one of them, we'll mention something about it. So that's cool. Coach Bazin, he came up to our camp and spoke to the guys Wednesday last week, and it was great to see him. And a bunch of memories just come flooding back when you see him. And I talked to Coach Bush the other day, and we talked a little bit about it. And man, there's just so many memories that comes to mind about those days back then, and they're all good. But I reckon one of the most special memories was I got baptized when I was in high school. Bazin did a little Bible study on Wednesdays, and all the coaches, they would pitch in and do one here and there. And, at the time it didn't seem so significant, but like I said, with each passing year, that becomes the most precious memory and, decision that I ever made at that time in my life.
Absolutely.
The state championship was the best thing in my life for a long time until I had my sons and, I got married and then had my sons. But make sure I clarified that.
Yeah, you want to get that one right.
Yeah. But, and like I said, the older I get, the more I think back, when I got baptized, that was the biggest blessing during those times.
Well, that happens in a championship season, I guarantee you, just add more onto it. And I can see how that's gotta. We talked a little bit about Marvel, but outside of your family, what else do you like to do to kick back and relax?
Oh man, my wife, she likes to try to get me to go on vacation. I think that's her favorite pastime, just trying to get me to go on vacation. But And we usually take a trip right after football season, and because I know it's tough on them and me and everybody else, the boys. So we try to get away for a little while right after football. So that's always fun. We go up to Kentucky now, and spend a week or so. But I mean, they're just. I mean, we just fly by the seat of our pants. The boys are playing football and baseball, so we leave from one field to go to another. And we come home and try to eat supper together, and we'll take turns picking out something to watch on TV for 30 minutes at a time, around 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. It's about the time we all get home and get settled in together. So we try to make the most of what little time we get this time of year.
So, are they pursuing Dad's path? Are they going the lineman route, or are they looking?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't have it no other way. Yeah. I told them they're going to be a lineman whether they are or not.
Wow. What's their potential look like? Are they going to be stand-up guys? Are they going to be edge rushers? What you think?
Oh, I don't know. They're just learning how to play right now. They just having fun. So I don't put a whole lot of pressure on them to play football or baseball or anything like that. The only thing I told them that they're going to do is they're going to wrestle.
Right,
They're going to do that. That way, whatever they decide to do, it'll help them be better at it.
You just mentioned that. I know you've been a big proponent of that. Wrestling has helped out so much of your program. Talk a little about the benefits that you've seen.
Man, I think that if you're a football player and you're not a great basketball player, you need to wrestle.
Mm-hmm.
You need to wrestle if you want to be the best football player you can possibly be, because it's going to teach you more about how to control your body than you can ever learn in the course of a football season.
And it seems like the wrestling community around here, obviously we've got Dora, we've also got Jasper. Mm-hmm. It seems like everybody in the reflective area, if they know you're starting a wrestling program, they're excited. Right. That means less they have to travel. It's better
Mm-hmm.
overall.
Oh yeah.
How was the community with you when you started the program?
Man, it was. I know Curry's had a wrestling program in the past. When I was at Dora and coached wrestling for a short stint, Curry had a team with a few guys, and so it's been around. They know a little bit about it. They're familiar with it, but it had been gone, I guess, for long enough that it was almost forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
So there was no expectations. There was no bad or good habits to break. We just, I'm talking about, started from scratch, basically. We were fortunate that they'd had one in the past because we had a wrestling mat to get started on.
Mm-hmm.
And that was all it took. But, I told Seth Burgett, he's our wrestling coach. I'm just, the guy from the school.
Mm-hmm.
But, I've learned what I've learned from him, and, one of my dear friends from Dora that helped me when I got into it, Tank, Greg Cameron. He's passed away now, but he was I couldn't have done it without him that year. He was as good a person as you'll ever meet. But Seth Burgett, he's helping me now, and I told him the other day, I said, anywhere I'm ever coaching is going to have a wrestling program. That's going to, they're going to have a wrestling program. If they ain't got one, we're going to start one.
Absolutely.
So that's how much I believe in as far as relating to football.
Absolutely. Well, we are almost out of time for today. Just before we cut away, though, let's talk a little bit once again about that Meet Curry game that's going to start off the season. I know you guys are happy to be hosting it, but there's a lot of good things that's coming on up with the different facilities, the stadium upgrade.
Oh yeah,
talk a little bit about that.
Man, we got a lot going on. The field house and the press box are being painted right now. Next year there's going to be a new look at Curry. We're doing a little bit of remodeling. The old field house. Next football season will not be there. There's going to be a new locker room and bathroom concession stand built. So when you're coming down the hill through the schools toward the football field, you're just going to, see right down the field right there. It's going to be nice driving up in there. So there's a couple changes coming, and it's going to be looking really good. I appreciate the Board of Education, administrators and board member for making a lot of this happen. So that's going to be great, and I'm excited to welcome Meek August 21st.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I expect it to be a hard-fought fourth-quarter football game.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We also got a jamboree on the 14th that we're hosting at Curry. Holly Pond, Hubbardville, and Dora will all be there on the 14th.
Oh, boy, those lines.
Starting at 6.
Those lines are going to be tough this year.
Oh, yeah.
Tough this year.
Oh, yeah.
Big time. So that's going to be fun to see. Coach, it's been absolutely a joy to have you on.
Yes, sir. I
Cannot wait
appreciate y'all
to see you guys line up, and I know you're looking forward to the year.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's going to take us all away. Terrell, we want to once again thank Young Jewelers, our wonderful sponsors, as well as Jake's on Fourth, and, of course, our newest sponsor, Nelson
Brian Boylan Cross. Yep.
Yep, and we certainly appreciate them. And we hope James getting feeling better tomorrow. He should be back, we hope, at very least. If not, well, Tara, we might just have to kick this around again. But, Tara, I'll let you lead this on out, bud.
All right. Thanks, guys, for being here. Coach Cordell, thank you for being
Thank
here.
y'all for
Brian.
having me.
Have a great day. And what is it James always says? Spread love or
Spread the love.
spread the love.
How about just this? Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. There you go.